What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And today, I just need to talk about my thoughts on weed. Honestly, I have to let y'all know because honestly, if anyone could give me a good point on smoking weed, I'll give it a pass. But I don't think you can. But I could name easily like 10 things that's wrong with it. Right? Because I used to do it all the time. And, back when I had like all the free time in the world, honestly. Because, in my opinion, it's the worst drug ever. And the reason why I say it's the worst drug ever is because it's so. In society, it seemed like such a regular thing now. Right? Because, obviously, it was a drug that was illegal, and then it become legal, and then now it's recreational, so anyone can just do it, right? And if you think about it, I used to smoke weed all the time. I'm telling you, like, in high school and after high school also, I used to probably smoke weed every single day. Like, I did not miss a day. And it's kind of slowed down for me after high school, but during high school, it was every single day. It was before school, or it would have been after school, whatever the case is. I was smoking, right? And basically, the reason why I would do it was because it was a little escape, right? School was difficult at the time. In reality, that's like, if I had the same mindset that I had back then, I would have been really good at school. But not everybody's talented in school, right? Because you could be really smart, test low, and you're not going to get into Harvard, Yale, and none of those colleges, right? And, weed was cool because I was hanging out with my friends. They smoke weed. So I was like, hey, what's the harm? Let me try it. Right? So I tried it. The first time I ever tried it, shit was horrible. Right? I was like, 16 at the time? I was a junior or a sophomore, 15, something like that. And I tried it and I tripped out so bad. Like, I was talking nonsense. I wish I could find a video back in the day because I was completely talking nonsense. I felt like time slowed down. I'll get up and I feel like I couldn't even walk because I smoked like a joint, and then I hit bong ribs. The first time I ever smoked. That's really insane, right? And I was so high. But whatever. After that, I was like, you know what? Let me try again because how bad can it be? So I tried it again. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty lit. Because I was building a tolerance to it, right? Because when you build tolerance to things, you gotta smoke more and more and more to feel high again, right? And anyone that smokes knows that the first high is never gonna be the same as any other one, right? And whatever, I stayed really dependent on it because I felt like everything that I would do in life, playing basketball, watching a movie, go bowling, hang out with my friends, I felt like anything that I would do would be better high. Right? That's literally how I felt. And what I realized is that keeps you away from actually feeling alive, because you want to be sober when you're doing these things, because you want to be in the right state of mind to create these memories, right? And you want to be focused and active when these things happen, because it's a lazy drug, in my opinion, right? Because who smokes weed and wants to go do something? Right? A lot of people say it's creative and all this and all that. But why do you need to smoke weed to be creative? Wouldn't you want to be creative, sober-minded? Right? Because if you need weed to be creative, then were you ever really creative? Because now you need a substance to feel creative. That makes no sense to me. Right? A lot of people say, oh, I smoke weed because it makes me want to work, right? But why does a substance make you want to work? You should wake up knowing that you have to work regardless of the substance or not. Right? And that makes no sense to me. And that's what the problem with weed is. We tend to replace it with any daily activity, right? Oh, I'm going to go hang out with my friends, but let me go get high first. What? For what? It makes no sense to me. Why don't you just go sober-minded? Well, you can't communicate with them if you're sober? There's an issue there, you got to fix on that. Something you got to fix there, right? And on top of that, that's one point, right? On top of that, it's very expensive. Right? Because I remember when I was buying that shit, anytime I got money from my grandma, whatever the case is, I would sell shoes, whatever the case is, I was buying it. And you're easily spending like $50 a week in it. Right? Because you're buying a quarter at a time. That's what, 50, 60 bucks? I don't remember anymore. But you're spending 50, 60 bucks a week On what? On weed? Imagine if you were to save up those $60 a week. That's what? Times 60 times 4? That's $240 a month. You multiply that by 12? You're saving yourself a good $2,000-$3,000 a year. Easily. And that's low amounts. Right? Because people tend to buy higher amounts because, like I said, your tolerance goes up. You gotta buy more, right? To get higher. Right? And people will spend five, even up to $10,000 a year on that. Imagine what you could have done with those $5,000-$10,000 if you were sober minded, still had the will to go work without it, and you still were focused and actively focused on what you wanted in life, right? Because your vision gets clear when you're sober minded, not when you're high. Because when you're high, for example, you get out of work, oh, I'm fucking exhausted, let me go smoke. You smoke, you lay down on your bed, and you turn on the Netflix. Boom, your day is gone. You fell asleep. And you know it's facts. You know what I'm saying is facts, right? You fall asleep and you did nothing with your day. Right? And then at the same time, you tell yourself, oh, I want to be this person. I want to make sure I own my business. I want to run my business. I want my family to believe in me. And how they're going to believe in you if all you do is come home from work, lay down on your bed, smoke, watch TV. You have no purpose in life at that point. Right? You're not doing what you were made here to do at that point. Right? And that's what I'm trying to tell you. You don't need any substance to tell you, to control you, control your mind to tell you, oh, I need this in order to do that. That makes no sense to me, right? Because if you need a substance, that doesn't really come from your will. It doesn't come from the inside anymore, right? So whatever you do from the inside, it's not going to be clear to your goals. It's not, right? Because everything that you want in life has to come from within, right? If I tell someone, oh, invest in this company because it's going to make you a lot of money, and they decide not to, because they smoked their weed, fell asleep, and didn't do the research on the company and decided to ignore it, that's on them now, right? I can only guide you to what you want in life. I can't grab your hand and tell you here because that's not my message, right? Because in my life, I had to work for what I wanted. I had to separate myself from the place that I was living at, right? Because I didn't grow up rich. I didn't grow up in the middle class. I grew up really poor. I grew up with friends that betrayed me, backstabbed me, right? But I had to let go of that. I had to let go of that past, right? That's what I had to do in order to be where I'm at, in order to be mentally as strong where I'm at right now. Because I feel like there's nothing I can possibly not do anymore. And that's the best feeling in the world, right? Right now I'm going to the gym, I'm eating good, right? I'm sober minded. Life is great right now. Literally, my mentality is that there's nothing I cannot do. Right? Because at my age, 23, no one's working as hard as me. So there's really no challenge. I'm sober minded. Everyone's out here taking drugs, getting drunk on alcohol, going to party. Right? Because your most important years are the years in your 20s, because that determines what your future is like in your 30s and 40s. Right? By the time you're 30, you should already be somewhat invested in what you wanted. Right? If you wanted to run your business, and for example, if you want to run a shoe business, you're not going to run a shoe business, talk to clients and network being high, because people are going to realize that you're high. They're not going to trust someone that smokes weed. They're not. Right? So you can either fight the fact and say, oh, weed is actually good for you. It's seen bad upon, but it's not how it's seen by people. Right? Weed is seen, if you smoke weed, you're seen as irresponsible. You're seen as lazy. And there's nothing you can do to change someone's mind around that, right? So if you want to be in the side of business and entrepreneurship, you have to change your ways, right? Because there's really no benefit to it, right? Your vision is going to get clearer when you stop. I can promise you that. You're going to wake up in the morning, feel energized, right off rip, right? Because it's the same thing with alcohol. You drink a lot, you get drunk, you get hangover, and the whole next day you did nothing. It's just like alcohol. It's just like any other substance in the world, right? The only drug I can ever take at this point is coffee. It's coffee, because coffee is the only drug in the world where I just feel like I can work really hard, right? Because I already work hard, but I feel like I'm myself when I'm drinking coffee, believe it or not, right? And I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying that's good. But I don't get withdrawals from coffee. I can stop coffee whenever I want. But why would I do that? Right? Because if you're working night shift, you're gonna, at a degree, you're gonna have to need some coffee, right? Because you're working night shift. Before coffee even existed, people weren't working night shift. That wasn't even a thing, right? So take that to mind, right? But weed, on the other hand, there's nothing good about it. And on top of that, if you're a youngin', more than likely you're hiding it from your parents. Why do you want to live like that? Why do you want to feel like you have to hide from people? That creates a level of anxiety, depression. Oh, no one understands me. No one understands me because I smoke weed and I want to chill and I want to relax. There's nothing wrong with it. There's a problem there because there is things wrong with it. I just told you 3 reasons why there's something wrong with weed. It's a waste of money. You can be investing that in something else, into your future, whatever your dreams and desires are. You're putting all that money into it, right? But you're putting all that energy into buying it, right? You're working your job just to buy it, just to waste it on that, right? It puts you around an environment of lazy, irresponsible people, because most people that do it are lazy and irresponsible. That's the honest truth, right? Because I was there. I was lazy and I was irresponsible, right? That's how it is. And it distracts you for what you really want in life. It distracts you, right? Because it's a oh, life is too hard, let me go smoke weed and relax. What? Life is hard regardless. Life is gonna be hard even when you're high. You just forgot about it for a moment. Well, you're gonna, oh, I'm high, yeah, this feels great. So what? What about when you're done? Do you ever think about that? Do you ever think about that? And the crazy part is that society wants to make it look okay because it's legal now, because it's recreational, right? But that's what they want for you. They want you to stay in your house, relaxed, comfortable, so you never have to chase your dreams. Just remember when I tell you that, right? They want you comfortable in your house. The pandemic showed us that. They want you to stay home, stay relaxed, don't question anything, smoke your weed, play your video games, watch your TV, and don't do anything with your life. I don't want you to talk to people, because when you talk to people, that's when their minds are like, why is this happening? Why did the pandemic happen like this? Why did people control this aspect? You know, why is it that the banks, every time they steal billions of dollars, they only have to pay $1 million in money back? Why is it that when crypto blows up, there's only a certain amount of people that make money and everybody else loses? But you don't ask yourself that, because you're so focused on smoking weed and getting high, being lazy, laying on your bed. But that's not gonna do anything in your life, right? And unless you want to be a slave for the rest of your life, you need to let that go, right? Because there's no other way. I'm telling you right now, you have to have a clear mindset if you're going to compete with other men. Because there's people like me that are working day and night, right? Because I wake up at 7 in the morning, go to my job, get out at 5 o'clock, get home at 6, and as soon as I get home, I'm making videos. I'm making reels. I'm getting views, people to understand, help people, right? Share this video if it helped you. If it gave you some motivational, some inspiration, share it with your friends, right? Because you want to help people. You don't want to hate on people when they do things in life, right? Because ever since I started making these videos, posting on Instagram, I started losing followers, right? Because people don't want the truth. We live in a world where if you tell the truth, people get hurt. People get insecure. Oh, he just said smoking weed is bad. What the hell? I do it all the time and I'm fine. But did you ever think that you can be better? No, because you're only comfortable in what you are right now. You should always strive to be better. Regardless if your day is bad, whether it's a horrible day, you go to work. And the crazy thing is, people will work their 9 to 5s, wake up early, stay dedicated to that. But when it's something for yourself, you say no. You don't even value yourself. Have you ever thought about that? You work for someone else, wake up early, go to work, and if you're 5 minutes late to your day job, they will tell you, why are you late? They'll treat you like a slave, right? But when it's time for you to work on yourself, you say no. I'm not gonna do it, right? I know I struggle with smoking weed, but you know what? I can't quit it. I'm not gonna do that for myself. Why not? You should be more greedy about what you want in life, right? You should be more greedy on what's gonna help you in life. Whether it's exercising, letting go of that bad habit, whether it's smoking weed, drinking alcohol, watching porn, whatever the case is. You let go of that bad habit, right? And I understand it's not a oh yeah, I'm gonna let go of it and it's that easy. No, it's not, right? It's not that easy. But if you want to at least start removing the things that cause that bad habit around you, right? Because if you're smoking weed, for example, in my position, I was smoking weed because I started off with my friends. They said it's okay. They said it's lit. You know, you're gonna relax. You don't have to worry about that, right? And that's why I started. So guess what? I had to let them go because they weren't my best intentions. And I realized, and I want you to pay attention to this. When you're talking to your friends, does anyone else think the way that you think? Does anyone else want the same goals that you have? Does anyone else want the same future that you have? Does anyone else want to be self-employed, want to be an entrepreneur the way that you are? You ask yourself that, because that's very important. Because that's gonna, when you bring questions, that creates wisdom. Right? Because asking questions, you're going to have to come up with an answer. And that answer is going to come up throughout your day because that's how the universe works. Throw a question out there to the universe and I promise the universe will answer it. It might not be the way that you want it to be answered, but he's going to answer. The universe is going to answer, right? Because if you pray and that's the crazy thing, you'll pray every single day. Don't surround me around fake people. I don't want no fake people around me, right? But as soon as your friend betrays you, as soon as your girlfriend cheats on you, as soon as someone does a backstabbing move on you, you're like, why did this happen to me? Why? But that's the thing you prayed about all the time. And now that it's happening, you're like, why? So at the same time, you question your blessings, right? Because your mind is fogged. I promise you that. That's the reason, because your mind is fogged. Have an open mind. See things always, even when it's bad, see it as a learning lesson, see it as a blessing, because every bad thing that happens in your life is a learning lesson. I can guarantee it, right? But you have to sit down, analyze the bad thing that happened to your life, and why did this happen to me? Why did God allow me to go through this challenge? Because he's not going to let you go through a challenge that you can't face, right? And think about it. So many people went through that same challenge. Of the billions of people on this world, you think someone didn't share the same experience as you? We all share similar experiences, right? Because I can say, oh, we all started smoking weed at high school and we kept smoking weed, right? And as soon as we let go of the weed, we became stronger people. We became stronger minded. We didn't rely on substance anymore. I work hard off of instinct now, right? So there's lots of people that can share this same experience with me and they can relate to me at that sense, right? And as soon as you discover that, you can help other people and that help will come right back to you. I can guarantee it. But you have to work hard. You have to face that challenge head on. That thing that's hardest in life for you, whatever it is, face it. I promise you, that's what separates successful people versus unsuccessful people. People that wake up in the morning and know things need to get done, regardless of whatever your day is. Whether it was shitty, whether it's the best day in the life, some days are gonna be good, some days are gonna be bad. Right? And remember, the only reason weed is legal is because it brings you down. That's the only reason they made it legal. You have to understand, when the Matrix wants to attack you, they will attack you full force. They will understand that weed and video games mix perfectly. Weed and movies mix perfectly. Movies are an escape from reality. Live in the reality. Video games are an escape to reality. Weed is an escape to reality. All these substances are escapes to reality. Live in your reality. Make a difference. Don't you have the desire to die fucking a legend? Not just a music artist, a legend, because there's lots of music artists out there making music, but they ain't changing lives. And when they pass away, no one's gonna give a fuck about them. They're gonna forget about you. But people like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, right, Nelson Mandela, those people are gonna live on forever because they understood the assignment. You wake up, you fight your enemies like it's your day job, and you work on your own message and deliver it to people and live through your message by examples, right? That's what life is about. Working hard, being dedicated, responsible. All those skills are important skills. So stop smoking weed. If you have no job, get a fucking job. I don't care if it's a 9 to 5. You need that 9 to 5 to learn these skills, right? But when you start working hard for that 9 to 5, don't be slaved up to it, right? Because in order for me to have the mindset that I have now and work on myself instantaneously, like the way that I do, I had to work that 9 to 5. Because I developed the mindset of I need to go to work regardless if my day is bad or not. But now I don't use it towards work, my 9 to 5 anymore. I use it towards myself. And that's a skill that's very valuable. Alright? I hope y'all understood this message. It helped y'all. And if it did, make sure to share it with your friends, with your family. I don't give a fuck, your dog, your cat, the person next door, whatever the case is. Because y'all gonna be the next legends. Right? Stop hating on people too. Stop hating on people. The more you hate, the less blessings come to you. When your friend does good, say good job, man, congratulations. Because I know my time is next. Okay? See you on the next one.